this is a very telling thing, post Jan 6 committee, which kind of got washed over by Roe versus Wade. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. Liz Cheney is now sending mail to Wyoming Democrats with instructions on how to switch parties to vote for her in the state's August primary. So he sent out these mailers which say, how do I change my party affiliation to register as a Republican so I can vote for Liz? And it go ahead and it lists the exact process. How can I get an absentee ballot? When does it need to be returned? With the exact instructions. And I think it's noteworthy because just in February, she told the New York Times she would not make a concerted effort to reach out to Democrats to ask them to change parties to save her. Quote, that is not something I have contemplated, that I have organized, or that I will organize. And now her campaign is sending out direct mail, Krystal, to Wyoming Democrats. I think that is probably as close to a indication of how bad things are going for her in the state. She outright reversed herself, said, I won't organize it, and now her campaign is directly doing it.
I mean, listen, I'm no expert on Wyoming politics. However,
I don't think it takes a genius to figure it out.
I would say that if you're depending on Wyoming Democrats, what are there, like 5 of them? To try to win your Republican primary, it's probably not a great political situation for you. They had some numbers in this article. I think it's a New York Times article. They said between January and June, the number of registered Republicans increased by 1,689. Number of Democrats and unaffiliated voters dropped by a total of 1,300. So there's some indication that maybe you got 1,000 Democrats to switch.
Congrats.
That's not going to do. That's
to be
not
fair,
going to do it.
there's only like 500,000 people who live in Wyoming.
True.
So,
True. They even have a quote from some like Democratic Party chair or something like that in the state. And he said, even if every Democrat in the state switched over, I don't think it'd be enough to help her. Her approval rating much higher with Democrats now than it is with Republicans, which is like sad on every level for the country because she is lockstep, right Republican voted with Trump on, I don't remember, 90-some% of the time. So if you're Republican, it's sad that the reason you don't like her is because she actually, for once in her life, did the right thing in terms of like being honest about Stop the Steal and what a bunch of crazy nonsense it was. It's sad on the Democratic side that you would have like that's your bar is just like say the right thing about Trump and then we'll love you. And I saw some of this discourse online during the January 6th hearings where people were like, I mean, I get it, but do we really have to lionize Pence and like act like he's some hero? There was some discomfort and there was a lot of like cope of, but I understand it's for a better cause. So yeah, I think she's not in a great position here in her primary, which again, I think the status of Liz Cheney says a lot about the state of our politics and how Trump ultimately became like the most important dividing line in terms of how people feel about candidates more so than any policy or any issue. And she's also gotten a little crosswise with some of her potential Democratic base. Go ahead and put this up on the screen. Her tweet here in the wake of Roe being overturned, she says, I've always been strongly pro-life. Today's ruling by the Supreme Court returns power to the states and the people of the states to address the issue of abortion under state law. So really leaning into the states' rights thing, even though there are plenty of Republicans who actually want the national ban. But she was really getting kind of raked over the coals from her new resistance liberal base who were shocked to find out that, guess what? Liz
She's
Cheney,
actually pro-life.
Not your friend, guys. Not
Turns
your friend.
out she's pro-life, pro-Afghanistan war forever, pro-deficit cutting, she's a Cheney. I mean, she has openly said, I agree with almost everything my dad did while he was in office. Well, I think you should remember that come office time. I'm not saying whoever the kook who's running against her is so much better, but that doesn't mean that...
Definitely not.
Look, I'm not going to shed a tear for Liz Cheney. I do think it's funny also to watch her scramble for her re-election chances. And on her way out, look, she's going to be fine. She'll go get some board seat or whatever.
She'll be on the board of Raytheon or something.
Yeah, or Lockheed Martin. It's like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Halliburton. Remember those discussions? She'll be all right. So.
I mean, I there's no one to cheer for in this story. I just think it's more interesting as like indicator of where our politics are.
100%.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.